Okay, so I'm gonna be talking about one of the hardest things about being homeless, or maybe even a street kid more so. But I don't know. I feel like it's just like for homelessness in general. Getting a lot of stuff. Well, no, I can't even say that actually, because in my situation, I kind of started off with a lot of stuff, which was mostly notebooks. And I'm not even gonna lie, it's actually pretty crazy, like how much space notebooks can take up. And then like I started carrying my health issues on my own due to a lot of stuff with medical gaslighting. So like a little before I ran away, I was already extremely chronically ill, but being heavily gaslit about it, even though I could have died at any moment. And I got all the health issues in the Cash for Kids system, and I guess it's mostly iatrogenic, which is funny because when I became homeless and I went to the West Coast, I saw that I actually had a lot of the same health issues as people who were on Fetty and meth and stuff. But the thing is, when they go to rehab, because there actually is rehab for what they have going on, they get better, they gain weight again, and etc. etc. So for me, of course, there is no rehab for Cash for Kids system abuse and iatrogenic health issues from the Cash for Kids system. And I mean, I've been able to cure a lot of my health issues and fix a lot of stuff, but I've still been 80 pounds since 14 when I dropped down to 80 pounds. So I still have the metabolic issues, blood sugar issues. I was able to cure some of the main bacterial overgrowths or whatever that was causing constant pain. I still have whatever spine issues. Not really sure about that. Supposedly it's degenerating, but to be honest, what I realized is that I have joint and like skeletal issues in general from the metabolic issues and not being able to break down food, and at one point not being able to digest food at all for years. Well, a couple years. And then starvation abuse. So I feel like that actually just wore down like my bones everywhere, so it's not just a spinal issue. And the spine lumps at one point really, well, even now, it really shows that carbs is the main issue with that, because whenever I have to eat a lot of carbs, the spine lumps get worse, and of course like inflammation, like I don't know, sleeping in a bad position can also make it worse. But anywho, I don't even know what point I was getting at, but I was already sick before leaving, and so like I had a lot of stuff to a certain extent, mostly notebooks and like I think some hygiene stuff. I only brought one pair of clothes for when it's hot and one for when it's cold, which is what I would always advise. And still that was a lot, but luckily like I was able to find what was it? Some restaurant, and they would let me keep my bags there because it was kind of private owned. And then like when I first went cross country, I brought those same bags, and eventually a year or more later I ended up with a suitcase. Well, no, I think I ended up with I had a suitcase that somebody had gave me to put my stuff in because my other bag was breaking. Then eventually, like a year or more, whatever in the world later, I somehow got the two suitcases, and I was able to get back down to the one smaller suitcase and like give away the bigger suitcase and a lot of the stuff that was in it. But it's like I don't know, and it seems like guys are better with this. Like homeless guys can literally have one book bag with just like a T-shirt in it. And then like it's some people that have like shopping carts, but typically the people with shopping carts have like developed some type of hoarding issue for whatever reason. And it's sometimes filled with a lot of stuff that nobody would need for anything. But it's like, I don't know. I guess it's something about like just being female where you somehow scrape up a lot of bull crap you don't need really. Or you kinda, I mean I do need it, but it's like, but anyways, I would advise you to not buy gear. People are always saying buy gear and buy camping gear and buy this gear and buy this bag. I wouldn't advise any of that. Even if you consider yourself a traveler, if you have nowhere nearby to really leave your stuff at, you're gonna have to carry everything you own with you everywhere. And you don't want to do that, or at least you don't want to have a lot of stuff. In fact, I remember that I started a sentence and didn't finish it as usual, which is what happens when you have not even just iatrogenic brain damage, but just like brain damage from other bull crap that happened. But what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, so I started curing my health issues naturally. I really started to try to do that at 12 when the different abuse started, but of course I couldn't do it while like still going through the abuse that was especially making me sick. So by 14, I started trying more so, but I was being gasless so much I didn't look into things as much as I needed to. It's a long story, but I eventually did figure out some of what I needed to do. So I got rid of like the constant stomach and bowel pain and some other stuff I can't really remember right now that I fixed. Oh yeah, pelvic floor dysfunction and pelvic floor pain. And yeah, so the point I was getting at though is so I have still like a good amount of different like supplements. I don't take all of them. The only ones I take now are the ones for digestion because I really need those ones, but I still have like other stuff that I do need to keep. And it's not a lot of stuff, but I mean literally everything takes up space. And all that could just not fit in the book bag, just that alone. Then I also have notebooks and it's like, I don't know, I just wish there was some way for me to not need half that stuff or really more than half. Like, if it was possible, I would want to have absolutely nothing but like obviously a toothbrush, floss, because I always make sure I have that, or I try to. Toothpaste, and then pads, one pair of clothes, not even like a whole bunch of mess, which I've never been the person for a lot of clothes anyways, due to a lot of reasons, so, but it's just like, I mean, even one jacket, and I wouldn't even say jacket, no, yeah, I do mean jacket, I was about to say coat, but actually a coat is bigger, but even one small thin jacket, like in a suitcase, can take up so much space and make it hard for you to like get stuff in there and have to maneuver stuff around. And it's like I took so much stuff out, but it's still heavy, and really it's because of books. And that's one bad thing I'll say though. Books are really, really heavy, especially when you're carrying them around constantly. But it's not even that though, because another point what you mentioned in the health issue stuff is that I am really weak. Not as weak as I used to be before I ran away. Like at that point in time standing was the issue. I couldn't balance on one foot. I couldn't push a chair under a desk. I couldn't lift a book. I couldn't even lift a small book. I couldn't do jack, really. Like, even holding my arm up for a couple seconds was too much. But now, even with me eating, still my blood sugar is low sometimes. So that makes me weak, dizzy, and it makes it hard for me to see. And depending on what I'm able to eat at that point in time, that could all be worse. So like, I don't know what happened from like whenever till now, but I can't eat noodles anymore. I used to have to eat them a lot before I ran. But which I really couldn't then, because that was when I still couldn't digest food. And now like if I eat them, I can barely be able to see and pretty much lose my vision for like days. Unless I like go out in the sunlight and take like a little bit of activated charcoal or something. And walk around / exercise, but that can make me not be able to lift things, but still I'm not that strong because like even with the digestive supplements and me like not being able to digest food and not being in crazy amounts of pain and throwing up and always having diarrhea and all that stuff that goes on with not being able to digest food, as well as kidney pain from not being able to break down fat or protein, which I still can't do that actually. I still can't break down food on a cellular level. And also I think because the blood sugar issues are still there and I'm still hypoglycemic, I think that's another reason why I still can't gain weight. And I'm still 80 pounds and I still can't gain fat or muscle. So I'm still weak anyways, even though it's not like how it used to be, where I'm like, I don't know, could pass out or something at any time or fall over trying to like, I don't know, pick up a can of soda. Not that I drink soda, but still though, it's like, it's not like that anymore, but I'm still pretty weak. And it's like, hearing that some people who were like, some street kids who were out here who were like healthy and normal weight, it's like 110 pounds on up, which I can't, I don't know. Hopefully one day I'll be 100 plus pounds, but hearing that even they have issues carrying stuff and that like they carry around 80 pound and 50 pound, 15, even 15 pound camp bags or whatever they're called, like those heavy duty camping backpacks or hiking backpacks, is insane to me. And it's like with the back issues I have, at one point when like I got really inflamed, I was having constant back pain. I had a whole bunch of swollen lumps in my spine. They're still there, but most aren't like swollen anymore. But really they're not swollen anymore. They still like hurt, but I have a high pain tolerance, but it was like really, really bad at one point for a year plus. And oh yeah, I keep dissociating and stuff. So I think I was saying that something like that would make me hurt really, really bad and become really, really inflamed all over again. And in fact, I'm now remembering one of the things that added to me becoming really, really inflamed back in like maybe 2024, 2023 to 2024. I think it was like late 2023 to 24. Was one, sleeping on a hill, bent on a hill, which was horrible. And it's like, if I would have even known that I actually had skeletal issues to the extent I did, I would have never did that if I would have known that I would get like how I got, which lasted for a very long time until I was able to sleep on a flat, hard surface again. But yeah, that and, well, I don't know, I'm dissociating again. I've been eating too much sugar the past 3 days or so. But I'm trying to think of what in the world I was talking about. I don't know, it's just not good for me. It's not good for anybody long term. Carrying around 15 plus pounds on your back constantly. I don't even know what else to say about it. But yeah, and it's like, it seems like dudes are better with this, but especially if you're a girl, you gotta let some stuff go. I mean, like I have some stuff for in case I need to purify water, like kind of like coffee filters somewhere, but they're kind of like bags though. And I know I'm gonna need those and it's very important to have like real soon, but anything that I know that I don't use on a daily basis, I feel like I probably just shouldn't have. Because it's just too much to carry, like even just riding public transportation, trying to like hold on to a suitcase, well, especially on a regular bus, like the city bus, not even like a Flixbus or Greyhound or something. Like just trying to hold on to a suitcase, especially a heavy suitcase, with me being as weak as I am on a regular city bus is a lot. And then also that means you have to sit in the front, or at least I do because I'm not strong enough to actually even lift a suitcase to try to carry it anywhere but the front of the bus. Like in the place where the people who are in wheelchairs or whatever would sit at. So it's like there's that. And then it's like even on like Flixbus or Greyhound or I guess maybe Amtrak too. Well, no, I think Amtrak may be different. Actually, yeah, that would be, but Flixbus and Greyhound. Just me trying to like get a suitcase on the bottom and then get the suitcase off, and I really shouldn't be bending over like that due to the back issues I have. Oh, what else is it? Something else that I'm totally forgetting. Just like every time I switch buses, having to drag the suitcase around, and of course have my book bag. And as of right now, well, actually, I think like since I got my Madden sleeping bag, those go in a separate bag, especially when I'm like on the Greyhound. But also when I'm in a place where I don't have anywhere to put my stuff yet, and where I haven't like found a spot. So that means everywhere I go, I'm carrying around a book bag, and I'm carrying around what else? The sleeping bag and the mat, and like 3 plastic bags inside of each other to try to keep it from getting wet, and also so it doesn't rip easily. So I'll be carrying that around, and of course, due to the fact that I'm already obviously young and I'm like carrying a lot of stuff, I'm automatically gonna look like I'm homeless and I just got kicked out, which means of course I'm gonna be a target for cops regardless of what. And of course I'm gonna be a target to all the different sexual predator people and even other toxic people, to be honest. Like, what I like to call let me help you lunatics are honestly worse than, well, I won't say they're worse than the sexual predators. Some of them kind of can be, but it seems like I don't know, they're just everywhere. But they're typically women, let me help you lunatics. They're typically women or cult leaders. And this is giving me memories of when I was pushing 2 suitcases, which were both plastic. The bigger one I used to have and then the smaller one. Pushing 2 suitcases around Manhattan. I don't even know why in the world. Honestly, it's really stupid looking back. But it's like, you really don't want to have a lot of stuff. You really don't. And it's like, if you were to even ask me what was even in those 2 suitcases, I wouldn't even know what to tell you. Because it's like, I have 1 pair of clothes for when it's hot, 1 for when it's cold. Although now, unfortunately, I have 2 pairs of shorts instead of 1. And, I don't know, but I'm about to go back in there. But it's a really hard decision, though. I think that's one thing that people don't really think about. Like, knowing that you can't have too much because you're going to have to carry it. And it's like, I think I may have a good spot when I go back to where I'm about to go to put my suitcase at. But even in a place like, I don't know, Portland, Oregon, they have homeless storage units. Something that I always thought was a myth. People talk about it, but I had never actually seen one. And a lot of people don't believe that they actually exist because they barely do. It seems like only in Portland do they exist. But it's like, even with something like that, you can only fit a certain amount of things in there. So, I mean, if you take everything out the suitcase, maybe it could fit. Just kind of ignore if I'm talking funny because, like, I have mucus buildup due to the sugar. And also due to milk, which I really never drink, but the past 3 days I've been drinking it. And eating some cereal because it's been, like, convenient for right now. Since I have a place to, like, store the milk and stuff. And I remember one reason why I stopped eating that stuff a long time ago. I used to have to, but I don't know. But one of the main reasons why I stopped drinking milk at 14 though was because I couldn't digest it anymore. But then, like, of course, with staying outside, not having a place to keep it where it would be cold enough to not spoil. Oh man. Anyways, one of the things about a storage unit is that it closes at a certain time, and you're gonna have to. So if you put your sleeping bag in there, you're gonna have to go back to get it, unless you're in a place that's hot enough where you don't need one. And I'm not gonna lie, the past couple years I've been out here, I don't remember it being this hot at night. But all the states that I've been to in the past couple months, it's really hot at night. To the point you don't even need a sleeping bag. In fact, the one reason I have a sleeping bag in the South It's to protect you from the mosquitoes and all the other bugs that they have, because there's a whole bunch of bugs in the South. And I had honestly forgot all about that until recently going back. And it's like, dang. That's the bad thing though. Now I get why some people use hammocks, but it's like the people who use hammocks a lot are of course in West Coast places, or just like in hiking trails in the woods or something, where you can really use stuff like that and not have to worry about getting seen and I don't know, people acting funny about it. But like, I feel like the South is more of a place for a hammock, if you can even find like a good spot with trees to put it. But I mean, dang, now I think about it, in the South they have all types of bugs and ants and weird stuff living in the trees too, so that wouldn't even be safe. But people say it protects them from like the nasty things on the ground, but there's less bugs on the West Coast. I'd actually forgot about the fact that mosquitoes even existed until I went back to the South and I was being horribly attacked. Like ant and mosquito bites all over from face down. Like the mosquitoes were actually insane. When they couldn't bite me anywhere else, they would start biting my face and my cheek and my eyebrows, my forehead, my nose, and it was like, dang. That was honestly crazy.